I believe it wasn't really a real fight. I just believe that if it's not broke, you don't have to fix it. Why did Amanda Serrano choose to fight a different fight, to box a boxer? You box a boxer, you fight a boxer. And vice versa, you box a puncher. Like the boxing style that Amanda used against a boxer, who Katie Taylor really is a boxer, she didn't really do nothing but run and use her feet, and there was really no action on either side. I think that Amanda was the aggressor, but at the same time, she didn't fight the way she was fighting in the first two fights, where she landed more shots than Katie Taylor, and she busted up Katie Taylor, and she actually won both fights. But at the same time, she got headbutted by Katie Taylor, and at the same time, she moved up to Katie Taylor's weight, which is 144 catch weight, which Amanda Serrano's a 130-pound fighter. Everything was built against the Puerto Rican, against Anglo Katie Taylor, Irish, because that's how it is. They always set everything up for us to be against us, because they don't want Puerto Ricans to be the face of women's boxing. So of course they're not gonna give it to us. So Amanda changed her fighting approach, her fighting style, and tried to box, Katie Taylor. I think that either way, no matter what she did, they were gonna still rob her, because they robbed her the last two fights that she really won. If it's not broke, you don't have to change anything or fix it or fight different, because they blatantly stole the fight from Amanda Serrano. Amanda Serrano landed more punches on Katie Taylor, and she got headbutted, and they didn't take a point away from Katie Taylor. But if Amanda Serrano would have did that, you best believe they would have took a point away from Amanda Serrano, because she's brown. Whenever you're brown, they'll put you down. When you're white, your future's bright every single night. And when you're black, they try to hold you back. That's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. It's racial connotations in that whole MVP promotion card. You can see the racial connotations even with the referee. When Green was beating that it was two undefeated fighters. I think it was a light heavyweight or heavyweight division, and the referee kept nitpicking at Green. And she wasn't holding excessively for him to take a point, but the referee just made his business to pick on the person that was black. And the other fighter that was fighting her, the white one, that she was undefeated 10-0, they didn't do nothing to her. Like she was holding profusely. She was holding in a lot more, and he never took a point away from her. Even Andre Ward thought that was bogus, but he didn't say everything. He when Green pushed the other fighter on the ropes, so that way she doesn't tag her or anything with a combination. The referee was trying to penalize her for that too. So Andre Ward was like, oh, so pushing her away is a problem, so that way she doesn't get hit, and actually holding. I mean, that's part of the game. Like in boxing, sometimes you're holding, you use that as a strategy, but she wasn't excessively holding, and the referee was blatantly picking on the African American fighter. That's what I think. I seen it. I could see the racial connotation, but at the same time, back to Amanda Serrano. Amanda Serrano was unjustly robbed in the first two fights, and Puerto Rico has a bigger pedigree in boxing than Ireland. Ireland has only like 3 champions, maybe 4 at best. And Puerto Rico has 60 plus, and we're smaller, but we're actually bigger. Because we have a reason to fight. We have a reason to celebrate, because we've been oppressed and we're unincorporated territory of the United States. So we have a reason to fight and a reason to have something to celebrate. We need to celebrate something, because the United States colonialism imposed on Puerto Rico is oppressing us. Grab the camera from a Lema Jackson edit. Uncle Mahor, thanks for tuning into the channel. I appreciate you. Subscribe to that channel. Tony also knows boxing. Subscribe to that channel. Tony also knows boxing. So back to what happened. They gave the fight to Katie Taylor. They gave it to, this fight right here, I guess you would say Katie Taylor won it, but none of them did anything spectacular. And I feel like it was scripted. I feel like it was designed for Katie Taylor to win all the fights, because they don't want a Puerto Rican to be the face of women's boxing. We've accomplished so much because of who we are as a people, what we had to overcome, and I feel like Irish people, they're very ungrateful to Puerto Ricans, because if you look at the history, Albizu Campos actually helped create a constitution for them to be independent. He didn't create it directly, but he actually befriended Irish leader, Valera, and they actually worked together, and he asked for Albizu Campos' opinions on independence for Ireland, and Albizu Campos actually helped create a constitution for them to be independent. He was part of it. He wasn't the main contributor. David Nelson M. Tony the Tiger, I appreciate you. My #1 fan over here. My #1 person that's tuning into the channel. I appreciate you. Subscribe to that channel. Tony also knows boxing. Subscribe to that channel. Yeah, I'm just so disappointed in the politics of boxing. I'm not going to watch women's boxing ever again. I'm not going to watch MVP promotion of Drake Fake Paul again, because he's not doing nothing but exploiting Puerto Rico's tax exemption. He's not helping Puerto Rican boxing. If he was helping Puerto Rican boxing, don't you think that Amanda Serrano would have got a fair shot and not robbed in the first 2 fights that she actually clearly won? She outlanded Katie Taylor. She got headbutted by Katie Taylor. She fought in Katie Taylor's weight class. Everything was stacked against Puerto Ricans to fail, and we still beat her, but they still robbed us. So there was no reason for her to change her fight strategy in this 3rd fight, because whatever worked in the first 2 fights, if it's not broke, you don't have to fix it. Use the same thing. But it's that either way she was going to get robbed. Either way, Amanda Serrano was going to get robbed, because white America does not want a Puerto Rican to be the face of women's boxing. Let's be real. That's very racist. When they introduced both fighters, what did they mention when Katie Taylor was introduced? The European Union. Isn't that the European Union was oppressing other nations of color, and actually Puerto Rico and America is actually in cahoots with them, where they actually profit and make money together? I'm just calling a spade a spade. Well, it was scripted that way. Did she lose the first 2 fights? She didn't lose the first 2 fights. She outlanded her. How do you lose a fight where you outland your opponent and you get headbutted and you go into their weight class and still beat them, but they don't give you the decision? Reactions and opinions. That's your opinion, brother Amanda Serrano Lord. That's okay. The fight last night, I guess you could say she lost it, but nobody really did anything to win that fight, and I feel like she didn't need to change her strategy. If the first 2 fights she outlanded and defeated Katie Taylor, there was no reason for her to change her fight strategy. I think it was scripted this way. Why did she have to fight this way? For what? Because she didn't want to get headbutt, and she felt like she needed to do something different so they could give her the decision. They were never going to give Amanda Serrano the decision, even if she did the right thing or she did the wrong thing. Because when she did the right thing in the first 2 fights, she outlanded Katie Taylor, beat the crap out of her, made her bleed, and went into her weight class. Everything set up for a Puerto Rican to fail, and we still won. But they don't want to give us that. They don't want to give us what was rightfully ours, what we rightfully deserve. So I feel like that's the politics. Boxing has always been racial, but I know that in this case they wanted to make sure that the Irish girl wins, because they want the face of women's boxing to be an Anglo. That's true. I'm not going to even read your comments, because you basically brainwashed if you believe that there wasn't no politics behind it. In boxing, there's always politics behind something, especially with MVP promotion. I don't call it most valuable promotion. I call it most violation promotion. That's what they are. And Jake Paul, he's part Irish too. He's German, Irish, Jewish, and some other race, but he has Irish. So you don't think that he's making sure that Amanda Serrano doesn't win, even though that's his fighter? Come on, man. Come on, man. Let's be real here. Let's be real. Come on. This is boxing politics. Amanda Serrano is a way better fighter than Katie Taylor, and she won those first 2 fights. Whatever happened last night was scripted. It was scripted, because there's no way that you're gonna tell me that she's gonna fight totally different than the first 2 fights, where she actually dominated and outlanded Katie Taylor. She's gonna fight totally different in the 3rd fight. They're not gonna accept whatever she changes and try to fight smarter. They're going to always take it away from the Puerto Rican fighter, because they don't want the Puerto Rican person to represent the face of boxing. All right, you Puerto Rican. Okay, brother, let me read. There's a lot of Puerto Ricans that are brainwashed, and they follow the script. You say, okay, brother, I'm Puerto Rican, and we got to keep it real. No colored person made Amanda Serrano rich, but Jake Paul pulled it. So let's give the guy credit for that. Okay, he made her rich at what expense? For her to lose and not be protected from the first 2 victories that she deserved? That's what I'm talking about. Not all money is good money. Not all money is good money. That's what a lot of people are brainwashed to believe, that, oh, just because he made her rich, that should be good enough. Shut up. No, Amanda Serrano should just be grateful. No, but she sold out. Amanda Serrano had to sell out. I'm not focusing on it. No, don't point at his comment. His comment is not really relevant. Look, I'm gonna tell you right now. A lot of people think that all money is good money. Just because you made somebody rich doesn't mean you're really helping her. At what expense? Does she have to lose? Does she have to lose in order to be rich by Jake Paul? Does she have to lose in order to be rich? That's what happened in the 2 fights. She really didn't deserve to lose. She should have won.
Read the comments.
She should have run. I'm going to read the comments, but I'm going to keep it real.
Read the comments.
All right.
Before and after.
She already had losses, so what does it matter? She walked away in 35. She walked away with millions of dollars. It don't matter if she had losses. It's the principle. The way she lost, she should have not lost that way just because she had a loss already. But in the other previous fights that she had a loss, it was one loss, and it wasn't unjustifiable. But in this case, she lost to Katie Taylor when she outlanded Katie Taylor in the first 2 fights. So having more money is irrelevant. She just felt like, okay, I got more money now. I could take a loss and accept it. She couldn't even say how she really felt because the MVP promotion, they made sure that there was no real animosity between them. But when you're fighting somebody, you have to have animosity when you're going to get in that ring. When you're fighting somebody, you could be friends afterwards, but you don't have to be friends before the fight. Like, that's so fake. That's so fake. Like, she didn't want to be as real as she wanted to be because MVP promotion didn't want to make it seem too real because they want to control the narrative, make it seem like Amanda Serrano wasn't robbed, but she really was robbed. She was robbed against Katie Taylor, but she couldn't speak her mind the way she really wanted to because they bought her out already. The contract, they said, all right, you take the loss and you get your money, you got rich. That's how they worked it out. That's how boxing politics is. This is politics. I'm not saying that last night that Amanda Serrano should have won. None of them did nothing. I would say I would give it to Katie Taylor, but at the same time, Katie Taylor didn't really do nothing. She just boxed and ran away. Okay, reaction and opinions. Jake Paul looked at her upset yesterday, so I don't think he was setting her up to lose. Well, he may not have been, but the people behind him, the board of directors, they were in control of that. And Amanda was robbed in the first 2 fights. Okay, that happened already yesterday. She lost fans. Okay. So I respect that. You see what I'm saying, right? That Amanda was robbed in the first 2 fights. You see what I was saying, right? Facts. And then what happened yesterday? Okay. Katie Taylor won the fight, but what did she really do? Like, Amanda Serrano fought a fight that you can't box a boxer. You gotta punch a boxer. You gotta slug with a boxer, like she did in the first 2 fights. So why did she feel that she had to change her strategy? I think it was all scripted. They said, okay, just you have to fight this way, just to make it seem like you try to change whatever you did wrong. When she didn't do nothing wrong in the first 2 fights, she never did nothing wrong. She won those fights fair and square, and they robbed her. They were never going to give her the fight. Even if she would have fought the way she fought in the first 2 fights last night, they would have not gave it to her. All right, reactions and opinions. I don't like talking about the past. Let's focus on what happened yesterday. Yesterday, she lost fair and square. Let's not be crying and making excuses. All right, you're entitled to your opinion, but at the end of the day, Puerto Ricans have a better pedigree than Irish people. We have a bigger pedigree in boxing, 60-plus champions and still counting. And Irish people, they're not even on our level when it comes to boxing. They only got like, what, 4 or 3 champions at best? They don't have our pedigree. But this is boxing politics. I don't care what you say. You may think that I'm talking about the past, but it pertains to the present. The foundation of the past pertains to the present. So you have to put both in correlation, because that's what you get a broad, more clarity perspective on something when you put everything together. You can't just negate what happened in the past and talk about now and come to a conclusion of what really happened. You got to put everything together, the puzzle. So what I'm trying to say is that when it comes to boxing politics, you don't want to blame Jake Paul. Okay, fine. But at the same time, he has to abide by the board of directors, what they decide behind the scenes, because they're the ones that control the narrative on what is more beneficial financially. And they felt that Katie Taylor winning, even though she lost those 2 first fights, that is better for boxing business. That's what it is, because she's younger. You got to think about it like that, because Amanda Serrano is older. She's closer to her prime. And, Katie Taylor, they wanted to make history with an Anglo-Irish boxer because you know, they don't have a lot of champions in Ireland. They're known for fighting, but they ain't on Puerto Rico's level as far as championship status per capita. Puerto Rico has the most champions per capita of any other country due to its size. So they don't want to give Puerto Rico more credit and accolades. So they purposely robbed Amanda Serrano those first 2 fights. You think that MVP promotions don't have some agenda behind the scenes? Like Jake Paul may not have said anything, or like, you know, I'm part of it, but somebody else is part of that. Puerto Rican boxers from today are soft compared to Trinidad era. Going from back, this boxers now they don't get that grit like back then. Amanda got grit. Berlanga gonna go to sleep tonight. And what about Subriel Matias? Nobody's talking about him. Subriel Matias, all right. Liam Pardo, the fight with him, there was something that happened behind the scenes, but at the same time, Subriel Matias got grit. You can't say he don't got grit. And I'm hoping and I'm rooting for him for tonight, because what happened yesterday was a disgrace. It's terrible. I'm not gonna watch women's boxing or MVP boxing, anything associated with Jake Paul or Logan Paul, fake Paul, Logan Small again. I'm not gonna be involved with that at all. And you can't say that Puerto Rican boxing is soft today because we got Xander Zayas. It's the promotion is soft. It's not that Puerto Rican boxing is soft. The promotion. Puerto Rico's an unincorporated territory. They're not even creating programs to make boxing flourish in Puerto Rico like it did in the 90s when Tito Trinidad fought. You know? All right, subscribe to my channel. Tony also knows boxing. We got Subriel Matias tonight, and we got Berlanga and Shakur Stevenson. Peace. Subscribe.